I believe that's the end of Top Rank Boxing for ESPN, which marks no major boxing on any American major network. And you know what? Top Rank, you won't be missed. Top Rank has been terrible for almost 10 years now. Once they started moving into the new direction, right? Which they should, but they have overhyped all of their fighters and they've overmatched their fighters to their favor. This guy, Xander Zayas, he shouldn't even be a title holder, right? Somehow they were able to secure the WBO. I mean, I'm going to say somehow, but they've probably called in some favors, right? To get this kid a title shot. I'm going to go through the card, the last three fights, right? Vargas Jr., Fernando Vargas is one of his youngest sons or something like that. They're hyping him up to be this next thing. He fights exactly like Fernando Vargas, the dad, who fought in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? They're going to avoid the left, anybody who can throw a punch with the left hook, because he fights exactly like his dad. Yes, he's got all his hand placements almost the exact same way, but again, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree in this case, in which if somebody were to throw the left hook, his legs would probably just freeze up and he would just go crashing down like a statue, just like Fernando Vargas. It is what it is, right? So they're going to matchmake him for another 10 years where he's not going to fight anybody that can even throw a left hook until that challenger forces him to fight, whoever it is with a left hook is going to force Emiliano Vargas to fight him, right? If he isn't decided to shit. Going to Bruce Carrington, pillow puncher. He was starting to get... The only guy in that fight that was getting hurt was Carrington. He can throw hand combinations. Yes, he can do that. He's got no power. Got a bad chin. Got bad punch resistance. You hit him, he swells up. They're going to move. They're cashing him out. They're going to cash him out pretty soon. All right, they're trying to sell whatever product. They've already sold their product to Turkey Al-Sheikh, basically. It's not a good product. Evident by ESPN actually dropping Top Rank. I don't think they've re-signed him, right? So this was their last show. Top Rank, when they went forward, kept Terrence Crawford hostage from the Errol Spence fight. I mean, that was a two-way street on that one, right? They built up Stevenson, who the next Mayweather, as they would call him, can't. His fists are just, they're a little baby's fist, right? He can't box either. There's going to be people saying that he's the next Mayweather. He can't box. You gotta actually have power to be Mayweather, right? Mayweather fought with his hands injured too. Although, yeah, he did take whatever morphine or whatever the equivalent is. I forget what it's called. But going on to Xander Zayas versus Garcia. The review. In my opinion, Garcia won 10-2 based on damage. Xander Zayas can't crack an egg yolk. Right? Let alone, we're talking, he can't crack an egg. He can't crack an egg yolk. Based on damage, he lost 10-2. And at the final CompuBox numbers said that the other guy actually outlanded him too. Also, right? I didn't think so. Right now, the point system is made for guys that don't punch as hard as the other guy to have a chance at winning. This is where we're talking about if it's a legitimate boxing fight that is, legitimate. Yeah, you could say he won, but I mean, at some point, well, what I'm trying to say is counting punches and landing punches, yeah, it's supposed to make. I saw that my mic went all the way up. Okay, so counting punches and landing punches is supposed to give the guy with lighter power a chance to actually win on the scorecards, but when you cannot crack an egg yolk, how am I even supposed to score it, right? And I've done this with a lot of the guys, Devin Haney. At some point, you gotta hurt the other dude. You gotta discourage him from coming forward, do something. Alright, if the CompuBox number said that he threw 800 punches, I don't know what he threw, maybe 7 to 8, maybe more. You would expect the other guy to have a bruise that wasn't, something getting laced. You're going to hit a guy in the mouth 500 times or whatever it is. Maybe 200, 300. You can't get him to bleed in the teeth. Really? You're going to hit him in the mouth that many times? You can't get a Mexican dude with probably no dental plan to bleed out of his mouth, not one drop. You can't bust his nose a little bit, make him bleed a little bit, discourage him from coming forward when he isn't, taking a break whenever he dictated, whenever he wanted to take a break. We're talking about Garcia here. Again, it's pretty fraudulent. They're saying he's the youngest title holder, whatever it is. They're going to avoid any competition for a good 3 to 4 years. No matter how much he tries to call, he tries to pretend like he's calling the shots and asking for undisputed and unified and all of that crap. It's not going to happen. The guy, he's got poor punch resistance also to the head and the body. Every time he got punched in the body, it made him double over and he had to hold. Okay, that's what I saw. No. I'm probably not going to watch it again, but if anybody's going to watch it, every body shot that hit him probably doubled him over, right? And made him go, and then he would have to hold. So, yeah, I mean, he's just a pretty boy, right? If you're going to judge why he would win, it's because he looks a little prettier with his allegedly juiced up body and his pompadour hair. I don't know. It's just my opinion. No, he can't hang. I said it a while ago, but they gave him a title shot in a stacked division somehow, and his title shot was also like his first ever actual step up to competition that was just a complete underdog, right? Looked at sometimes like that dude actually might have been taking a dive on purpose, which is odd because, the best Olympic Mexican dive team are all made up of boxers, not actual swimmers, right? It was just a bunch of bull crap. I think I tuned it off after, I think it was like round 6 or something like that. I'm not saying I tuned it off, I just didn't care anymore. Because I think we all saw what we needed to see with Zayas. I mean, Zayas was just getting beat up, right? Yeah, he was landing a lot of punches, and he's a good boxer. But what's a good boxer if you can't do nothing to the other dude? And the other dude's beating you up, right? And it's terrible. He's terrible, and it's one of those things which I never said. But they were talking about how Berlanga was a bum. This was like a long time ago when he was like 16-0. He was the best prospect that TopRank had because he was the only dude with a decent chin and a decent power. These guys that they're building up, they just got none of that, right? Maybe the dude in the middle of this picture, Johnson, right? Keyshawn Johnson. And I think they're building him up fast, but all of those other James Prince guys, they're not fighting anybody. They're just, what would you call it? Low risk, high reward fighters, right? And they're just gonna avoid as many people as they can for however long, even though TopRank is no longer on a network. They're still gonna just go with whatever it is that, their business plans and all of that shenanigans. They're not gonna fight anybody. And, Xander Zayas might have captured a title, a lucky one, a very, very, very circumstantial title. But I mean, anytime he faces anybody new, he's not gonna beat him, right? Because really, in a boxing match or even in a boxing fight, damage pretty much trumps everything when it comes to scoring. And this kid was getting beat up by a journeyman. And, we'll go back to the point about the scoring and all of that stuff. Yeah, I can see if you wanted to score it 12-zip or whatever, maybe 10-2 Zayas. But if you're scoring it based on damage, it was like 9-3, 10-2 Garcia over Zayas, because every punch he landed on Zayas hurt him, basically. And he couldn't even really put a bruise on Garcia without, we're talking knuckle to bone, not laces to skin, I mean, he was doing some good body work early. We're talking about Zayas. He was throwing that left hand to Garcia's body. He did it like 3 times, and Garcia felt it. And then he threw a right hand, and it clashed into Garcia's elbow, and from what I saw, and it had just a very loud crack, right? And the ESPN crew was just going crazy. Oh, what a body shot, what a body shot. And it just sounded terrible, in my opinion, because it sounded like fist to elbow bone, right? And after that point, it seemed like Zayas really wasn't trying to go to the body anymore because that dude's elbows were sharp. So there's my opinion. To recap it, Emiliano Vargas is basically Fernando Vargas. When you're talking about like from a boxing stylistic technical standpoint, he's going to get dropped by a left hook. Or, just anybody with a fucking heartbeat who fights back can probably get this kid out of there. Shoeshine Carrington, Shoeshine, right? What do you call him? Shoeshine punches. That's all he is. He's literally just 12 rounds of shoeshine punches while getting hit back and getting hurt even more than the damage done to the other dude. Same with Xander Zayas. Hit the other dude in the mouth 1,000 times, can't get him to even bleed a drop of blood, right? While also getting beat up at the same time. It's terrible. It's terrible. TopRank is done. I mean, it's going to be a hard sell. It's going to be a hard sell. for them moving forward on DAZN. I believe they signed with DAZN, but man, they're gonna be like one of those DAZN won in the Monday morning boxing fight or something. Cause don't nobody want to watch them, right? They're gonna try to find their place on DAZN boxing. It's gonna be on a Monday morning or something, like Monday afternoon there. All right, thanks for watching.